Hello, and welcome to tonight's team training, which will cover chapters 4 to 6 of You Are a Badass at Making Money. And let me just say that we move into our dream house on October 31st. And my hope is that I will be doing these calls from our beautiful manicured backyard, as opposed to with a beautiful background, as opposed to this wall. So wonderful. I'm so excited. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. Here we are. And oh, what's this? No, I don't know how these things go. Oh, magic. I love it. Okay. So chapter 4 is very, very practical. It is best practices for busting yourself. So I'm very well educated. I have 3 university degrees. I have a successful career as a counselor and therapist. I mostly work in a high school, but I love the hours, et cetera, right? So, but in my first year, my biggest hurdle was myself and my own ego and pride. I felt above it all. And so did the author of You're a Badass at Making Money, Jen Sincero. And we were both worried that if any of our friends caught us getting into this kind of stuff, that we'd be embarrassed to admit any of it because we were afraid of what the people in our lives would think, including family, friends, coworkers, anything, right? Like it was very, very scary. Now, there's a bunch of tricks that will help you unearth your deep-seated, money-repelling subconscious beliefs. And I'm going to start with the most powerful, which is just do it. Hurl yourself into the fire. Take big, audacious action in the direction of your dreams, and do not let the fact that you're wetting your pants. Remember, I talked about this. She's got a really unique sense of humor. And I have dialed it back quite a bit for this, but that's okay. Don't let that stop you. Run face first towards your biggest fear. So in our business, I am very successful at enrolling customers. But I am not that successful in enrolling business builders. And so I've targeted this as a thing for myself, that if I want to be successful in this business, I need to have other business builders with me. So I made a goal. I said, okay, I'm going to invite all of my customers. I have at least 50 customers that are happy, continued, etc. I'm like, I'll reach out to them. I put that activity off for 2 weeks. And then finally, today, because we had a really wonderful thing to invite to, today I reached out to 20. One of them showed up on the call, and 4 more are looking for the recording. So that is a 25% return on my factor. Okay, so I'm definitely moving in this direction, and in this direction of my dreams, because I know that I can't be as successful in network marketing without other people that I can help, and they'll help me. It is such a wonderful, I can't say enough good things about this. Okay. So we want to run face towards it. Now that I've done the 20 invites, and they were all like voice invites, by the way, now that I've done them, I'm like, no big deal. No big deal. I can do these. And this is the feeling that you're going for when you make that huge leap in your life. You want equal parts terror. Again, I was scared, and excitement. I don't know who's going to join right now, or in the next 6 months, or in the next year. But if I don't ask, I don't know, right? So there we are. If you succeed at staying the course, one of the most glorious results is you'll freak out your subconscious and it'll so massively that it's going to rise up. Like it needs a good shaky, shaky, shaky. Oh, I did it right. Okay, so tip number 1. Bum rush your, I don't know, fears. I'm going to guess that's what that says. Okay. So I don't know what bum rushing means, but I'm going to guess it means like moving forward. So figure out something you can do right now that will take you a giant step closer to your goal of getting rich. In our business, guess what? It's inviting, 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 and following up, following up, following up. But you got to make sure it's something scary, something you'd rather not do because it's super uncomfy, like that makes you feel like you might barf. You want to notice any limiting subconscious beliefs that might get scared out of hiding as a result. And if any come forth, like write them down. I have learned to write a lot of stuff down since I started doing this training, and it's everything within the last 6 weeks. And then once you've uncovered your heretofore unhelpful, unknown belief, take this time to like acknowledge and feel whatever feelings come up. You want to pause, acknowledge, let any sadness or frustrations out of your system. Let your feelings rip, okay? Because again, life is not about being happy all the time, but it is, if you want to be happy, you also need to limit the amount of time that you spent in the dwell zone or the sad zone, etc. So you want to feel those emotions because you can't be human without them. Again, therapy Christy's coming through here. But when you start to hang on to them, the only person you're punishing is yourself. So makes a lot of sense to learn to let it go. Okay. So once you discover what's been holding you back and given yourself a chance to start releasing it, begin to feel a new story. Okay. New stories are what you're looking for in therapy. It is what you are looking for when you want to change your life. Okay. New stories. There's actually a whole tenet of philosophy of and practice of therapy that is legit called narrative therapy. And it's rewriting your own stories, okay? Because this stuff is powerful. Tip number 2, watch your mouth. I think that says, if I remember. I made this one last week, so not quite sure. Okay. Your thoughts are the superhighway to the spiritual world, which is where universal intelligence is hanging out, waiting you for place and order. Now, let's all keep in mind that for me, 6 weeks ago, like 7 weeks ago, I had spent probably 2 years warming up to the idea of universal intelligence. I had spent the last months meditating and receiving information, but it wasn't until 7 weeks ago that I went, yes. And everything in my life changed for the better. Okay. So again, if it wasn't happening to me on the daily, I wouldn't be as vibrant and about it. Words, this was a great little metaphor. Words are great truffle pigs to uncover your hidden thoughts about money. So it's simple. You just have to make the decision to pay attention. Make this your mantra. Slow down and shut up. I am a high energy, verbal person who loves to talk. I make jokes that I love to hear the sound of my own voice. Not in business. In other things, yes. Not in business. Get practiced at taking deep breaths before you speak. Remember, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And one of the ways that you can show them that you care is listening. Okay? This gives you space to stop, notice what is about to come out of your mouth, and course correct if needed. Paying attention to other people is another great trick. This is very enlightening because the people we hang out with the most tend to share our own perceptions of reality and hence tend to verbalize the same beliefs about money that you do. Now, there is this other theory, which I think is bang on, as do millions of other people. The 5 people we spend the most time with shape our beliefs and personality. Now, the great thing about this is that about every 6 months, one of those people leaves our lives. So you have the opportunity to replace them with somebody else. Wouldn't it make sense to do someone who is more successful than you, that can learn from you, that has a more positive outlook, that has whatever, has something that you want, and you can learn from them and therefore become a more actualized person. Okay, self-actualization is actually the highest level, according to Maslow's charts, okay, of your personality, existence, etc. So all of this is working towards self-actualization, and I love that word, but this is not what that's about. Okay, so if you're hanging out with a bunch of broke-ass people, right, or people who hate money and think it's evil, you are not going to make any, because you're basically sending the same message out to the universe being like, I like being poor because it makes me humble, or whatever. Like, okay, I don't think that way, so it's hard for me to come up with those examples. Here are some phrases. This is so So helpful. Here are some phrases to watch yourself with others. I want. That means I lack. And remember, the whole thing here is about reprogramming yourself to come from a space of abundance rather than lack. I have two boys. They have different dads, right? And one of them is very driven by lack, and the other one is driven by abundance. And it's very interesting to me to see this. And so obviously I want to convert the one from lack to abundance, because then you're the feeling, well, we'll get to that later. I wish. Oh, remember, this is not net wish marketing. It is network marketing. So I wish, but I'm not in control. So it's disempowering. So I don't say I wish anymore. Okay. I need, because I ain't got. That's lack. I can't, obviously. I'm trying, right? Yoda says there is no try, only do. Okay. Yoda, listen to Yoda. I hope, again, might not happen, might not, but it lacks faith. I should. Oh my goodness. Okay. So therapy back again. Should is the single most dangerous word in the English language. When everyone says, I should, I should, I should, I said, stop shoulding on yourself, okay? Because should is filled with guilt and shame. Maybe I want to, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. It's very wishy-washy. Should sucks. I don't know. Spoken as truth, this actually just slams you on the door from finding out, right? Excellent replaces. I have, I create, I'm grateful for, I enjoy, I can, I choose, I love. These are words that you want to start putting in your daily language so you can start accessing that universal abundance that is out there and ready for us. Additionally, two words that we need to be particularly stealth about sniffing out are the words I know. Okay, so people say I know defensively all the time. I know, I know, I know. Nothing slams the door on further investigation and radical action like, yeah, I know it's important to be like aware of my thoughts. No need to explain. Next topic. I know. They're very sneaky words because we tend to think we're rather impressive for knowing things, when in reality, no matter how much we know, there are always more sorts of the story and number of infinite questions that could massively expand our awareness. Like when I think I said in the first call that like I was near the top of my game with counseling after 10 years. And I was feeling pretty like, I got this, I got this, I got this, like nothing shocks me no more, like that kind of thing. And I realized that's flawed because there's an infinite amount of things that could happen, right? So I'm aware of not saying I know, right? I know. The other I know thing I know does is shut us off from receiving information from universal intelligence. When you say you know something, it's like, okay, well then I don't need to show you anything, right? When we're so convinced by and attached to what our brains are telling us, we lose out on receiving a different answer. But importantly, you have clearance to use I know when it's used as a confirmation of awesomeness. Like, I know I can make buttloads of money because I'm a badass. I know we're going to sell this house because to the right people. Like, this is me, right? Like, I'm like, I know that we're going to sell this house to people that are going to love it as much as we do. Okay? Like, I know that. And that's okay because that's universal awesomeness. Shut up even more. Tip number 3, right? Learning to be a counselor like I was a teacher first, right? And so learning to be a counselor and listening, like when you're a teacher, you're giving directives all the time and you're constantly like, you're on all the time, classroom management, this and that, and all the names and all the things, right? So when I had to shift to being a counselor, well, when I chose to shift to being a counselor, I realized, oh my gosh, like I'm not going to be the one in charge. And that's one of the first things that I tell us when someone comes in. I'm like, so it's very important for you to understand, and these are teenagers who are not used to having power with adults. And so they come in and they're like, I'm like, okay, well, I want you to know that you're the one in control here. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And my job is to shut up and be a wise person who said nothing. Right? Very often people will solve their own problems. They just need a sounding board or whatever. Now, but also we're going to work through some meditation stuff here. Okay. So this reminds us that when we get silent and we step out of the way and listen to the big smarty pants known as our intuition and the universe, true wisdom comes to us and then it flows out of us. Okay. So I have been meditating for about 9 months, so since January, and a bunch of things have happened. And one of the best ways to blast past the noise in our brains and discover what's going on underneath is through meditation. Okay. I cannot recommend Deepak Chopra enough. Like I said, I am going to be starting when am I going to do that? I'll do it tomorrow, because again, action. I'm going to launch a meditation group, a sharing group of meditations on Facebook. It's called Change Your Mind. And it has just been the most incredible gift to myself every day. And people say, I don't have time. Set your alarm 10 minutes, 15 minutes earlier. You got time. I am now getting up at 5:30 every morning because I realize that I'm so productive during that time and nobody's around and it's really chill and I'm getting a lot of stuff done. And I'm not missing, and I'm going to bed earlier as a result. So I'm not missing any, I'm just missing time with the TV. I'm not missing time with my kids. I'm not missing time with my partner or my dog or my cat. I am just, anyways. So you can make time, and I would strongly suggest you do it first thing in the morning because that's when we are like the freshest, right? Like we've come out of our slumber where there is no universal intelligence when you're sleeping, okay? And so you start off your day right, and all of a sudden, boom. Even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, do not pressure yourself into getting into the zone. It takes practice, just like everything. You don't pick up a tennis racket and go to Wimbledon, right? So you have to practice, practice, practice. And so now I'm at a point where I can typically relax into meditation within a minute, but I remember times when it would take me like all the time. And I was like, okay, I don't even know what that was, but it was, at least it was peaceful, right? If you do it every day, it will make such a difference that you won't even believe you didn't sit down and shut up sooner. And this is where I'm at now. Like I meditate now multiple times a day, in the morning, in the evening. If I'm feeling confused about something or whatever, okay, it's on. And another revealing exercise is visualization. And I love this too. Take 5 or 10 minutes to imagine yourself living out one of the specifics of your desires to get riches. It doesn't have to be the whole shebang. Maybe it's owning a horse. My horse is coming up September 28th from the US, and he'll stay in Canada for the rest of his life. And I'm so excited. It's all there. And I didn't, anyways, without this business, I wouldn't have him. So, and he's something that brings me joy and memories and legacy and all sorts of things, right? Okay, so just focus on one of them. Picture yourself there. Notice how it feels, how it smells. Oh, with the horse, the smell. Oh my gosh, like it's rich. Where you stay, what you eat, see, buy. Imagine what other people think about it. Feel it all. So whatever that one piece of your perfect day, and I'm going to get to the perfect day stuff later because I spent a lot of time on that this weekend. Do the visualization, because without it, it's not, yeah. So bust yourself, number 4. Okay, this is pretty raw for me, okay? So have an us talk with money. Whether you realize it or not, you're having a relationship with it. And one of the best ways to find out how you really feel about it is to write a letter as if you're a real person. So she gives Jen Sincero, we're on a first name basis now. She gives like 5 different examples of what you could say. So I'm like, what you could write. So this is mine. Okay, I didn't copy one of hers, it's me. Dear money, I've known how important you are since I was a child when I tried to sell my brother a $2 mood ring for $10. Looking back, okay, come on, supply and demand. I didn't want to sell it, but he really wanted it. Looking back, it was a transaction that would have made us both happy, but I was told by our parents that I was ripping you off, and then I was punished for being entrepreneurial. I actually had to give it to him for free. Money, I was taught that if you're important, but I shouldn't have too much because I'd have to do shady things to get rich. I've worked hard and played by the rules, yet I continue to chase you. 3 university degrees, gainfully employed, until I started this business in an incredible amount of debt. You've let me down, yet you've also brought me great joy into my life. I hate that I have to work so hard for you, but I love the life experiences that you bring to me and my family. I also love you and embrace you fully. I enjoy the time we spend together, and I choose to have a long-lasting, mutually beneficial relationship with you. I choose to defend you and to support you by spending you and not stopping your flow so that you can help others. Love, Christy. Okay, so you want to think about this, right? Like, it's not a love letter. It's just, it's like a letter, right? Like, think about how you really, really feel about money. And as we embark on busting you and your limiting beliefs, we got to caution you against getting so wrapped up in processing these blocks that you don't take action necessary to change your life, right? Like I got a lot of cerebral friends and they get stuck in their heads and they don't actually do anything, right? So you actually have to take action to change your life, but awareness is step one. I want to encourage you to do both at the same time. Investigate your BS and then also take forward action. Even if you fail, even if you stumble, of course, these things are going to happen. I still do this. I still stumble and I still fail, but it just doesn't smack me in the face and knock me down and I don't get up. I'm like, oh, it's part of my growth. So taking scary leaps into the unknown is the best way to scare your BS to the surface anyways. It's a twofer deal. That's so Canadian, twofer. You make progress and you unearth your shit. Again, I don't think I could have said it any differently. When you hit on what's holding you back and realize what you need to move forward, you need to act immediately. Okay, I think I'm actually going to get this done in the time allotted because these two chapters were actually really full of stories, and my job is not to repeat the stories, but rather like pull from the stories the important pieces. But again, as always, I encourage you to read the books and to write books, but I encourage you to read them because you get more out of them than me regurgitating the main points. Okay, so doubts, fears, and other people's rules are no match for a heart on a mission. In my first year of this business, I worked almost solely from my head. I'll use logic. I'll use this. I'm like, oh my gosh, the science behind our products is incredible. Oh my gosh, we're a publicly traded company. All these like logical key points that I needed to say yes, but all those existed before I said yes. I said yes because of story and then my own personal experience turning into a story. So all of the head stuff is important, but it isn't until your head and your heart meet that you will be very successful. Okay. So it's a matter of like just figuring out how to merge the two. So in order to become rich, you must connect your desire for money with fiery passion. The key to doing this is getting clear on your specifics around your why. Now, in every network marketing business, sorry, I'm going to stretch out here. In every network, they're always saying like, what's your why? What's your why? What's your why? What's your why? And my why has changed over time. My first why was, I just want my product to be paid for. I don't want it to cost me anything. And then it changed to, I want to help as many people as possible. And then it changed, and then it changed, and then it changed. Okay, so it is really, really important to discover this because it is what actually drives you. Why do you desire this money? What will you spend it on? How will it make you feel to spend it, to make it? How is more money going to add value to your life? Which of your gifts are you most excited to share and exchange? Where do you feel like you may bring the most value to others? Because yes, this is a value-based business. All sales is actually. It's like people have a need, you fill the need, there's the value. Just wanting to get rich isn't going to cut it. There has to be some meaning behind the money, or else the second it gets hard, you just slink back into complacency. And this happens to, honestly, most people in our business. The minute it gets hard, they're like, ah, right? I believe I have enrolled over 20 distributors. And right now, 3 of them are active, right? The other 17 quit. And that's their prerogative. And it's fine. And it's because our business is simple, but it's not easy, right? I'm now in year 3 and I'm in it for life. I get it. Like I'm seeing this and seeing this and seeing this over and over again. My residual income is at the point where I could stop working and still make a nice income. Okay. But I don't want that. I want this for other people. So now, there's my why right there. Okay. I am so determined to help other people be able to release themselves, get the freedom that I have and that I will continue to have. And all while making people feel great and be better and all that stuff. Anyways, okay. If you're going to make more money, you need to get in touch with the emotions surrounding your incentive for making it, because emotions are what drive us to action. Because money on its own is legit a meaningless pile of paper and coins, you have to get excited about it, right? Without any meaning behind it, it's like, oh, it's the same as a piece of printer paper, right? So you want to get crystal clear about what the money is for, what it means to you, and how it makes you feel. So your vague aspirations, right, will lead to vague results. Specific ones will lead to kicking butt. Why? Because the specifics allow the universe to fill your order. It needs details. Now, I did put out there that I wanted to sell my house for a certain amount. Did I actually? And it's funny because I put it out there and I said the number. But at the same time, I also said, oh, but I'd also accept this, right? Which was like my bottom line at the time. So I think I'm going to get the bottom line because I said that, right? Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. It's still great. Okay. And I have also figured a way to get all new furniture anyways, right? So very excited. So specific create emotions, and emotions give us the determination to reach our goals. Vision boards are great for this. Cut out prints and pics of what you'd like to spend it on. So I do a vision board every January. Abundance was my mantra. I had Vegas and like for the powerful women in marketing, as well as, anyways, those things I canceled. Cannot get that. But one thing on there was that I wanted to be bad debt free. That is about to happen. It didn't happen the way I think it was going to happen, but it is about to happen. I'm about to be credit card, line of credit, debt free. Incredible. And have all new furniture in a beautiful home in a beach community it's insane. Okay. Vision boards. So yes, very, very good. Next time, what I would change to my vision board, I would print them out in color next time. That would be something I would do to make it just even pop more, because I use the cheap printer at work, and you want to dig deep into that why. These are just a few. She gives like 12 examples here, but I just pulled 4 that resonated with me. I love reading Rich because it makes me feel confident and powerful, knowing that I did what it takes. I can contribute thousands of dollars a year to my favorite charity. One of my things is I want to be part of the Giving Pledge, right? And you have to be very wealthy to be part of the Giving Pledge. And that is when you donate obscene amounts of money to charity. I want that. It makes me feel good. I'm an inspiration to other women in struggle, right? One of the most incredible things about our industry is that there's no glass ceiling, regardless of your race, age, as long as you're over 18, right? Race, age, gender, creed, religion. It doesn't matter. It is a level playing field. I can buy great gifts for people and can finally take my family on vacation. So these little things, right? So that's one of the things that's come out of this business, is I've taken my family on lots of vacations prior to COVID, but even after, because as long as we keep it local and we stay in a way nicer places now. The other reason to fall in love with your desires for riches is because love is the greatest weapon against your limiting beliefs. We fall in love with very specific things and people, so getting mighty clear on the details of your impending riches is critical, right? Teach the riches like a relationship, right? Like falling in love with it. All living things come hardwired with certain traits and characteristics that are part of our nature, okay? So I'm naturally a good writer. Well, am I naturally? I don't know. I know I'm naturally a good storyteller because I've been doing that since I was a child. And by the way, our business is not about sales. It's actually about storytelling, just FYI. Okay. So it took me until year 2.5 probably to understand that. And as soon as I started telling stories rather than barfing, facts at people, everything changed. Right. So these things come naturally. Some people are naturally good at math, and some people are naturally good at performance, and some people are naturally good at, swimming, whatever, doesn't matter. But it is when we feel good about these things, universal intelligence is flowing through us. The amount of people that I've known also, like, remember, I'm a high school counselor, so kids will come in and they'll be like, I want to be a doctor, yet they fail math and science. And I'm like, you are choosing, someone else is choosing that for you. It's not, but say they're a brilliant performer, or they're a wonderful chef, or something, like they've done really, really well in their cooking class or something, right? I'm like, we need to follow those things, because when we push against who we naturally are, we feel stress, Things don't progress easily. Everything's an effort. And this is why listening to what everyone else thinks that you should be doing, including becoming a doctor, becoming a lawyer, becoming a teacher, whatever, including your own scaredy cat self, is so deadly to your bank account. Meanwhile, when you listen to your heart and connect with who you're meant to become, you have energy because you're in a state of flow. Again, I'm so into flow. I'm so into it. Okay. Abraham Hicks, oh my gosh, I am all about the vortex. Okay. Things happen more easily and opportunities land in your lap. I started experiencing this. Like, I can look back on my life and be like, oh, I was in a time of flow there. Like, everything was going my way. Again, I cannot say enough. Every day, I love how things are always working out for me. Things always work out for me. You say that to yourself a bunch of times, and guess what? Things will start like working out for you. It's incredible. So you want to pay attention to the things you're drawn to and the things that you're good at, right? Allow yourself to be pulled by your heart instead of pushing your way through a thick fog of shoulds. Don't should on yourself. Your heart is the most powerful muscle in your body, so you want to do what it says. As you take time to imagine your life as this biggest, boldest, and most authentic expression of you that is you, don't be a cheapskate when it comes to taking inventory about what lights up your heart. Be honest about it, right? So my partner, Ben, he is at a bit of a crossroads right now. He is in the third year of his apprenticeship as a plumber. I don't know. I think he feels pressured to finish it because he, it has a good income and all that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know if it's for him, and neither does he. And we had this conversation last night. I'm like, hey, you need to find something, because if we don't do anything, that's not good for anybody. But I just said, let's find something that makes you happy. And he seems really excited about it. Really excited. Okay. So you want to act as if you live in an abundant universe, which you do, and have the ability to create whatever financial reality you desire, which you can. By the way, I said to my trainer, so I have a Fraser Brooks guy, John, and he was like, so how much are you making now? And I told him. And he said, well, how much do you want to make? And I said, I want to double my total income in 2021. He said, okay, we can do this. We can do this together, right? Amazing. I hadn't thought about it, but now I know exactly what that number is. And I'm like, I'm going to do that in 2021. I'm going to do it. And so here we go. And by doing this, you'll be sharing the most magnificent version of yourself in the world. So specifics are important, but you also have to stay open to allow universal intelligence to deliver what you need. And the thing or the person or the opportunity that makes your heart sing may come in a different form than the one you're thinking. So for me, it's been really interesting because I have been like, okay, all I have to do is invite all of my customers to be distributors. And, and that'll be the answer to my problems. Well, not everybody who's a customer wants to be a distributor, of course. So I started that process today, and it's going very well, by the way. But after this, there's got to be something else. So I have to be open to where those people are going to come from, or this income also might not come from this business. Like, let's be clear about that. I might write a book. Not might. Well, I'm not committing to that next year anyways, but I have started a book. I have this, I have that. There's all these different things. Heck, I could maybe get an inheritance or something. I don't know, right? But not that I want that. I don't want that. Because that means someone, croaks. So, but we need to be open to it coming to us in a different way than we were expecting. So that's part of where meditation comes in, because it releases your resistance. The fantasy day in the life. Okay. So at the end of this chapter, so we are at the end of chapter 5, there is an exercise, and it is detail to the probably 20 minutes. Well, I did it in 20-minute increments. We had an open house at our place on Sunday, and I had to leave, and Ben was taking care of the kids and the dog and all that. And so I had to do some errands. And so I took myself up for lunch, and I sat there with a glass of white wine and my carnitas tacos, delicious. And I sat there for an hour instead of typing this out, because that's what I had intended to do. I sat there for an hour and I wrote out exactly what my perfect day would look like. And I didn't pick a weekend. I picked a work day. And then I pulled out the strong emotions from it. Anyways, I did the exercise. And I did this once 2 years ago when I first read this book. And I think it took me about 20 minutes. And this time, over an hour. And I kept going back to it and going back to it and going back to it and changing things and being like, no, this is exactly how I would spend a perfect day. So it's worth doing it. Okay. I only have like 3 or 4 more slides. I'm going to make it in time. Chapter 6, your mental moneymaker. So this one's mostly about choices. We all have the choice to think what we want to think and to take responsibility for the fact that our thoughts create our financial realities. Again, she does tend to beat you over the head with the same concepts over and over again, but that's how things sink in, right? Like, as we know, it often takes 7 to 10 follow-ups for someone to enroll. So the same is true for books and whatnot. I remember reading or listening to Rich Dad, Poor Dad and going like, wow, this is written for idiots. But guess what? I got the message in the end because it was so repetitive and la la la. But I was like, oh, right. I do know the difference between an asset and a liability right now. And the author of that, right, by the way, is very, very pro network marketing. What if your financial reality depends on the actions of other people? So this is like a really common thing. Now, there's a huge long story about Jim Carrey at the beginning of this chapter, and it's really good. But I mean, again, not worth our time to repeat. And but he was a huge visualizer and a huge believer in his own success. And even though he was shot down, and he wrote himself a $10 million check, like before, like when he hit Hollywood, let's say, like 5 years before he found any success. And then when he got the check, when he got Dumb and Dumber, he got a $10 million check, right? So they do say like write yourself a check, right? So I'm going to write myself a check for double my income and date it January 1st, 2022, right? I just thought of that right now, but I'm going to do it, right? I mean, it's just a check, but is it just a check? If you think about it though, all people rely on other people to buy their products and services, to strengthen their investments, or to pay the cover charge to see their band, right? Like, so money comes to us from universal intelligence through other people. So you can't use I can't control other people as an excuse for staying broke, right? Again, it's an excuse, and we're going to talk about excuses here actually. Well, it's true that you can't control other people except through like really gross, disgusting methods. You can control your thoughts and actions, and that's what you need to focus on to shift your financial reality. You can have your excuses or you can have success. It's about who you can't have both. You cannot have both at the same time. So success is not about your circumstances, it's about who you're being. There are people who are born rich and screw it all up and end up poor. And then there's people who are born with barely a penny, who rise up and actually and make millions, billions of dollars, right? So it's not about your circumstances. People have gotten rich doing and selling everything, and people have also gotten broke doing and selling the same things in exactly the same way. So what you focus on, you create more of. I could actually do a whole Zoom call on this because it's a huge tenet of Abraham Hicks and meditation, Deepak Chopra, all that kind of stuff. So if you focus on how broke you are, you're going to stay broke. If you focus on how sad you are, you're going to stay sad, right? So again, I feel my emotions. I'm certainly like not immune to like, right? So, but I am now in a place where I'm like, oh, does it make me feel good to feel negatively about whatever XYZ, right? And I'm like, it does for a minute, but then it stops feeling good. And when it stops feeling good, right? Like jealousy feels good sometimes, envy, like there's a bunch of things that feel like, oh, or like criticism feels good sometimes, right? But if you stay in a space where you're looking down on everybody, eventually it's not going to feel. It won't feel good. Okay. I love this, love this, love this, love this. And I'm going to transfer this phrase into my therapy, which is my practice, which is worrying is praying for stuff that you don't want. How incredible. Like, those are 8 words I will never forget. Now, I did skip a line, right? We are very attached to the way things are, not the way they could be, right? But we need to start imagining how they will be, right? Worrying is praying for stuff that you don't want. Amazing. So we change our focus to the positives. What you have and what you desire changes your attitude and raises your frequency so that you can align your energy with and open yourself up to everything you need to change your life. The money-making opportunities you didn't notice before, the people you can help and the people who can help you, and the ability to visualize a bigger life for yourself. Like, this isn't for everybody. You get that, right? Like, it is for the people that are ready to move forward, want to get unstuck. It's not possible, okay, there's a typo. It's not possible to focus on one thing and see another. That's why when you're trapped in worry, you're not only creating more of it, you literally can't see all the opportunities that are surrounding you. And when you focus on your past, which is a huge sign of depression, by the way, anxiety, people are spending too much time in the future. With depression, they're spending too much time in the past, okay? You are blind to your present. Ideally, for healthy mental health, there you go, tip, you want to be living in the present, not the past or the future, enjoying what's happening right now. Just thinking about something doesn't mean that you believe it, okay? So I want to be rich. That's nice. It's only when gargantuan positive emotions are involved that thoughts are able to access their superhero powers, create new expansive beliefs, fearless actions, and as a result, exciting new realities in our bank accounts and other areas of our lives. Because of course, this isn't just going to apply to money. It's going to apply to all these different aspects of your life. My work relationships are better because of this new space I'm in, okay? My romantic relationship is better. My relationship with my kids is better. It's just incredible. My relationship with money, though, way better. So our emotions are the motivating kicks in the rear end that alert our bodies that it's time to take action and make a thought into physical reality. And emotions are like a switch, right? So we got electricity, it's off, it's on. Emotion is literally the switch. You don't care about anything until you actually feel an emotion about it, okay? Whether it's positive or negative. The thoughts, beliefs, and emotions we don't consciously reject, we are unconsciously accepting. So when it comes to changing your life, if you're not scared, you're doing something wrong. An excuse, remember I said we're going to talk about excuses, is nothing but a challenge that you've given your power to. When you use an excuse of I can't do that or whatever, blah, 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 you're just saying you're giving the power away from yourself. And one of my key things in my life is empowerment. I'm really, really into it, especially for women, but it's really, really something that I care deeply about. Empowering others, because I feel very powerful, right? I feel powerful in most aspects of my life, and that's just fine by me. The big secret to getting rich isn't so much about the brilliant plans or hard work or good timing. It is actually about our thoughts and emotions. And that was a reference to before, where like two pizza shops could be sitting next to each other and they could have the same recipe and la la la, but the one that's going to survive is the one that has the positive attitude about it. Ingredients for the cocktails of creation. We need to believe in yourself, believe in universal intelligence, or whatever you want to call your higher power. That is totally fine. Having clarity, okay, this is one of the big C's of success. There's 2 in there, but anyways, that's a Brian Tracy thing about the C's. Clarity, knowing what you want. Now, you don't have to have all the answers or how it's going to roll out or anything like that, but be clear, focus. So downstairs, I have this little, I'm not a big fan, no shade if you like these, but I'm not a big fan of like those big signs that say like family, blah, 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 or like we're in this together, or like, again, I'm not like crazy about motivational things like that. Be kind, right? But we were on vacation Ben and I took a weekend to a Harrison Hot Springs Hotel, which is a luxury resort that's about an hour and a half from where we live, after we finished prepping our house for sale. And I was like, oh, I want a little memento. And so we're wandering around and we're in the store, and he bought this mug thing, and I saw this little thing. It's just like this big, and it says focused and fabulous. And I was like, that is probably how I feel the most about 2020 is I feel so focused, and it's been incredible. Faith. Again, I did not really develop real true faith until 7 weeks ago. Urgency, get her done. You put things off, they don't get done. Do it now, do it now. And that's my Burning Man training: immediacy, urgency, because The opportunity will never be the same. So we do it now. Decisive action, go do it. And gratitude, be so thankful, be so thankful. Gratitude is one of the best ways that we can connect with universal intelligence. And I am so grateful for so many things every single day. And I think it, and sometimes I say it out loud, even to nobody. So, because nobody's there. Nobody thinks I'm crazy. I know I'm doing good. You can't experience new lands from the comfort of your comfort zone, or sorry, from the confines of your comfort zone. So you want to see exciting new things, whether it is travel or you're in your own life or just in your relationships or whatever, you have to leave your comfort zone, right? When it's comfortable, nothing changes. Nothing changes. And how determined you are determines your outcome. Like I said, 60, well, I didn't say this earlier, but 60% of people who join our industry quit before the first year's over because they are not determined enough. But if you stick with it, like I know it's going to take me probably 7 years to become a Pro 7. That's not very long to be making 100 plus USD a year. Okay, 7 years to do that? That's ain't no thing. Because I have all these other things that I care about that I want to do, like my job and like my work-life balance and all that kind of stuff, right? But I will be very happy to be there. It might happen sooner, but I'll be fine. If I just do one step a year, that's okay. But you need to be ruthless with yourself because you're not growing a new money-making mindset. You are battling a whole lot of subconscious belief about money that you've probably never faced before. Last slide. You can't. You can't, you can't, you can't. And this advice, I don't know if I would have listened because I was so uncoachable in my first year, but you can't be weird about the fact that you want to get rich or that you're going to focus on everything you're going to do to make it happen. If you get all flazé-da about it and you're like, I'm going to get rich, but it's like no big deal or whatever, right? I guess I just said that. But to be honest, I did just say that. I said it will take me 7 years to get, I said I don't care. I actually do care. I want it next year. I want it by 2023. Pro 7 by 2023. There we go. It's happening. Make sure, you cannot make sure everything is perfect before starting. This applies to so many, I remember people like, well, I'm going to have a baby when it's perfect timing. No, it's never perfect. I'm going to do this. I'll get that promotion when it's perfect timing. No, it's never perfect. I'll become Pro 7 when it's perfect timing after 7 years. Oh, not okay. No. Okay. Timing is never perfect ever. You cannot be precious about getting rid of all the distractions in your life. Oh, I'll do it when I have time. Oh, I'll do it when this, no, you will find the time if it's something that you really want. You cannot whine about how little time you have or how nobody around you is supportive. You need to take responsibility for that you've created everything in your life, okay? Everything. And you can't need to know exactly what you're doing before moving forward. How many people are like, I just need more product knowledge. I just need this. I just need to know more of this. No, just do it. And you can't. This is so huge. When I learned to do this and to cut, so basically you cannot get advice from people who aren't farther along than you. Why would you listen to somebody who is less successful than you in your industry? Why would you do that? I was a victim of this, or I victimized myself this way for probably 2 years because people got a lot to say about network marketing. Guess what? They don't do it. And they've never been successful at it. So why would you listen? You need to listen to people who are more successful about you, who have what you want. It doesn't need to be network marketing. It can be whatever, okay? Doesn't matter. Never take people's advice from people who are less successful than you. And if you want to grow, you need to hang with people you can learn from. And this wraps up into those 5 people that you spend the most amount of time with. If they aren't more successful than you, you're doing yourself a disservice. Bam! Okay, I have no idea how actually long this went because I didn't get cut off this time. And I know it's okay. Stop my share. Thank you so much for joining us. 50 minutes. Well, it's okay. I still got everything done I wanted to. Okay, bye-bye. See you next week.